So today we're going to start out with a heavy question. Is manipulation abuse? And how I even came to this question is I was having a conversation. We were talking about the Puff Daddy trial that's going on, or P. Diddy, whatever y'all want to call him. And in our conversation, we were talking about the abuse and the things that he was doing in the trial. And then the question I posed was, is manipulation abuse? Because when I think about abuse, I think about abuse in like a very narrow lane and narrow lens. I think about abuse as being physical. There has to be a physical aspect to it if we're gonna call something abuse. I think of abuse as coercion, because coercion and being forced into something to me are pretty much the same thing. And then I also think about abuse as being threatened. So physical coercion and being threatened. Those are the aspects that I believe that abuse is. Now, could you be being manipulated and it still fall under one of those three things? Yes. But also you could be manipulated and it not falls under one of those three things. Cause me personally, in I don't believe in the whole emotional abuse. I don't believe in the mental abuse or anything like that. Like, oh, this person is being mentally abusive. This person is being physically being verbally abusive. Like, abuse is, to me, one singular thing. And like coercion, could that be mental abuse? Yes, but it's also just strictly abuse. So, and the reason why I ask is because we're gonna really delve deep and get into this today. I think in a way, in an aspect that most people won't think about really delving into this subject. So let's get it.
It's the Johnny Hustle Anti-Establishment Show. Johnny Hustle, yeah. Johnny Hustle, yeah. Johnny Hustle Anti-Establishment Show. Johnny Hustle, Johnny Hustle. It's the Johnny Hustle Anti-Establishment Show. Johnny Hustle, yeah. Johnny Hustle, yeah. Johnny Hustle Anti-Establishment Show. Who is the Anti-Establishment Show?
Yo, 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 welcome to the Johnny Hustle Anti Establishment Show. We are going to have an amazing show today. Today, we're talking about Biden and all the stuff that's going on with him right now. But it's going to be a little bit different twist to it. I'm going to give it to you from my thought process and my perspective. So, with that being said, let's hop right into it. All right, so I'm about to play this video right here, and then we're going to review this. We're going to review a few different videos. So let's get to it.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Live picture there at the White House. Just want to update you on a major story we brought you just on Sunday that still so many are talking about. Former President Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, which came in at a 9 on the Gleason scale, which is extremely, extremely serious. Many tributes still pouring in. Well, we're learning when the last time President Biden had what is known as a PSA test at one of his routine physicals. That's a key test, key indicator. It's a blood test to determine whether or not there are any concerns to worry about with regard to the prostate. Many men get it when they go get their physicals here. I want to put this up from Jackie Heinrich at the White House, from a Biden spokesperson. This is via Fox White House producer Pat Ward, that President Biden's last known PSA was in 2014. Prior to Friday, President Biden had never been diagnosed with prostate cancer. So just a little bit more coming in from a Biden spokesperson on the president's condition, his medical history, when the last time he got a PSA test. It was more than a decade ago. Now, remember, we did get his kind of health summary after his physical took place in February of 2024, last year, at Walter Reed from the White House physician. And there was a kind of paragraph in it outlining some of the key blood work that he got done. In that very summary, though, it did not show that he had gotten a PSA test with regard to looking at, checking out the prostate. Of course, Biden, he's 82 years old. He just left office. He got this news when he went in for some type of checkup on Friday. The news became public on.
All right. So that's enough of that part. So here's my thing. Is this really something that just popped up? You know, I'm a firm believer of, if somebody tells you something, believe them. And there's been a lot of things, like a lot of speculation going on about Biden, that something was going on. I mean, even in my own personal estimation, like looking at Biden and watching Biden giving speeches and stuff, like his everything was just off. The way he spoke, the way he moved, like his thought, all of it was just not the same as the Biden when he was the vice president for Obama. But you know, let's take a look at what people are saying. We're gonna take a look at David
tapes were
Pakman.
released. They were like, hey, wait, maybe a good time to distract the American people.
We're gonna take a look at David Pakman and see what he's talking about.
Mark Wayne Mullen is a Republican senator. He's a particularly vile and disgusting individual. And he says that the release of Biden's cancer, like they released it into the wild, the release of Joe Biden's advanced prostate cancer is a calculated distraction, he says. Take a listen.
It's interesting, though, the timing of them releasing the cancer, right? I said this while we were talking kind of tongue-in-cheek a while ago, but it seems like since her tapes were released, they were like, hey, wait, maybe a good time to distract the American people and talk about his cancer, because we know that cancer's been there for a while. And then when you start talking...
Of course, we don't know that. As we've said before, we've spoken to urologists, we've already talked about it. Is prostate cancer typically slow-moving? And by the time it gets to stage 4 metastatic, it's been a while. That is often the case, but it is not always the case. And particularly with the Gleason 9 score on Biden's tumor, suggests very aggressive cancer. It is not standard of care to do a PSA blood test for men after age 70 or 75. Biden's in his 80s. If Mark Wayne Mullen has some evidence to present, I want to hear it. But absent that, this is pretty irresponsible speculation.
About the tapes themselves, I think as a special counsel, he went as far as he could.
Now, it sounds like that Mr. Pakman wants us to just take this in a vacuum. Like, he doesn't want us to delve deeper or ask any further questions or anything like that. He just wants us to accept what is being said at face value. Let's continue.
But then you had the left media that was completely covered it up. And you think
attacked Robert Hur.
Yeah, of course they did. But you start looking at even Jake Tapper, and who has now wrote a book on this. He wrote a book pretty quick. So that means that they knew this was being covered up for quite some time.
That doesn't make any sense. The book was written quickly, meaning they knew his cancer was being covered up for a long time. Now, I will be the first to tell you, if it is the case
That's super disingenuous. He knows very much so that is not what the book is talking about. And that guy's talking about a book. You know what? You have to be really careful about a guy that just talks really quick for no reason. You know, when people start saying a lot of words, it's really easy to kind of breeze past what they're saying. But he said the Jake Tapper book. As far as I know, the Jake Tapper book has nothing to do with him having cancer. No, what the guy was saying was, is there some type of, oh, this book is coming out, so let us distract on the other hand. But once again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think from what I've heard so far, this is a little bit disingenuous.
That Joe Biden knew he had prostate cancer last year, and he was maybe already getting hormone treatment, and maybe that treatment was responsible for some of his behavior on the campaign trail as far as side effects go. We should know that, and at some point, maybe we will. At the same time, if they don't have evidence for that, how long can you insist without being required or asked to show some evidence of what you are saying? These people are being extraordinarily irresponsible, and of course, they are furious that there might be sympathy for Joe Biden and his diagnosis. So that's where we are, and it's all pretty vile, I'm not gonna lie. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book.
No, we don't need that. Let me get this off of the screen. All right. Okay, so from what he was saying, what I gather, he's saying that Joe Biden was completely focused. He knew everything that was going on. And we just need to have sympathy for this older guy, is pretty much what I take from it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Because there's one more thing. Oh, did I not put it in here? Okay. So I didn't put it in my stuff, so I'll find it here in just a second. But first, I want to give some of my views about this. So first and foremost, let me take these headphones off. Okay, so first and foremost, I think one of the bigger issues with this whole Biden thing is, one, for me personally, it's not even about Biden, or not anymore. At one point, because while he was still in office and when he ran for re-election, I've started to believe that Biden had some form of dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that, like while he was actually in office. And my bigger issue has always been not with the office of the president, not with his cabinet or anything like that. Like, I have an issue with it, but that's not where the biggest issue lies for me. Where the biggest issue lies for me is with the media. The media is supposed to be the people's advocate. They're not supposed to pick a side. The media isn't supposed to be Democratic, Republican, Green Party, Libertarian. Like, the media is supposed to be holistically the people's advocate. They are supposed to return back to us with information, and then once we receive that information, we glean from it what we will. But that's not what has been happening in America. The media has not been giving us, like, the real information. Like, let me ask a question. When is the last time you've seen a major television network report something negative about the pharmaceutical industry or the health insurance industry? Because I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember when I was a kid, there used to be journalists that did investigative journalism. They would go inside companies and work for them, and then they would get the scoop and they would come out with all of the information. You don't see that anymore. You don't see people going undercover anymore in the mainstream media. Like, for example, Food Line, because this is how much of an effect that investigative journalism had on me as a kid. Food Line. They did an investigative journalism piece on Food Line. And when they were in there, when they were doing the undercover work, they uncovered that Food Line was taking old meat, unwrapping it, like rinsing it off and stuff, and then repackaging the same meat. So Food Line at one point, not anymore, but at one point, they were selling people expired meat. Where is this journalism? Where is this investigative journalism? Like now, like life is about people. So we have got so out of touch with our surroundings, with other people, that we don't even realize that the media has been manipulating us. Like we were literally being manipulated. The media was literally telling us nothing's wrong with Joe Biden. Nothing. And then you look at the day of the debate between him and Trump, that first debate, all of a sudden, everybody, after they see him like just literally forgetting things on stage, they're like, oh, something's wrong. Like, really? Like, really? We're just figuring this out now. I could tell. I don't have any doctor degree or anything like this. All the time they're telling us to believe the professionals. But the professionals, time after time after time after time, have just let us down. They've led us on a path that is not good, it is not positive, or anything like that. So our journalists, who are supposed to have journalistic integrity, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Do you not? If I could see it, are you telling me you couldn't see it before the debate? I don't know. I feel like we're going down a very bad road here. And
knowing what I know now,
and I believe
obviously
that we are. I believe that
I feel
we're
tremendous
being,
humility about.
Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I believe that we're being manipulated by the media. So we're going to take a look at this book David Pack was talking about. Or we're going to take a look at Megyn Kelly. She had Jake Tapper on. We're going to really take a look and see what's what with this.
Knowing what I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera. She saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact.
Is it your job to just ask, as a media person, Jake Tapper, he's a CNN guy, is it your job to just ask, be honest about your health? Or is it your job to press and push and prod and really find out what's going on and whether you were like our president was healthy or not?
Fact that voters
but then he wasn't.
thought that he was not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
That was a great question. And the problem is, hence why he's looking up to the heavens, searching for an answer. The reason why this is happening, how she asked the question, which was an excellent question, is inexcusable. If you are supposed to be advocating for the American people, because that's what the press is supposed to be, what logical excuse do you have? Like, what reason do you really have for not doing your job? And let's not be confused. These people make millions of dollars to do what a kindergartner can do. Okay. Oh, let me read off of this teleprompter. Maybe a kindergartner was too harsh. Maybe a third grader. Let's continue.
That's true, but I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that, even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said, yes, they're watching you and they are concerned that you are too old for this job.
They're concerned, but nobody did any research at the time, while it was in real time. You know, where he's talking about posts, like this book is written after the major issues have already passed. But it wasn't in the moment. So pretty much he was a day late and $1 short. Like that's how I look at it. Now he's being a Monday morning quarterback. It's crazy.
You know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his favorite color. We were talking about Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance. But yeah, I mean, of course, I've said I look back at my coverage with humility. And I wish I did cover the issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them much more. And I wish, I mean, of course, it's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October 2022, that this had been the only subject? Because I had then
Well, it wasn't
what I
just
know
that,
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues
No, I
were not
didn't.
pressed. Well, there was
No,
at least that time,
I-
and then there was the time at the beginning. And but separate and apart from that,
but Megan,
you
hold on,
covered the
hold on.
Biden's
I sat
presidency.
with-
No. Let me just finish my point.
I'm
You
just saying,
covered the
I had
Biden
one interview with him
presidency.
during his. I had one
Okay,
interview
right.
with
And it was
him during
13
his
days after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't
You didn't
think
seem
that's
interested.
true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is.
Okay, so they're about to play the Laura Trump video, but this video is gonna be the quintessential point that I'm making, is that too often we are being told to trust the experts. And they're telling us to ignore what we see, what we hear, what we think, what we feel, just to trust the experts. Oh, like, I know this doesn't make sense, but I'm an expert, so your opinion is null and void. You don't really know. I know. And you should lean on my understanding instead of what you understand.
This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, his work to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, let's go back. I'm not sure what happened there, but it said no. Okay.
This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, his work to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You have
to
no
watch somebody on stage search for
it's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his
I had no
stutter.
idea, Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely
Thank you,
feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
All right. I don't know what's going on with the video. It's not cooperating with me. But the level of gaslighting just then was incredible. Incredible. Like, how do you think it makes kids with a stutter feel when you say this about the president? What are you talking about? For what? First and foremost, if she wanted to talk about somebody and make a joke about somebody that had a stutter, like, what's wrong with that? Like, as a kid, we made jokes about people that had stutters. We made jokes about people when they had eyeballs that was going in different directions. So the fact that you're saying we can't make a joke or talk about the leader of the free world and how he is communicating is absolutely ridiculous. And it is absolutely disingenuous. This guy, this same guy, this guy right here, that guy, this right here on the screen, him, that's talking about how do you think it makes kids feel talking about the president that has a stutter. You have got to be kidding me. Like, how do we even let him get away with making that point? Like, that point didn't even make sense. These are my closing thoughts. We have been manipulated by the media, the American people. Is that abuse? Have we been abused? If we have been abused, do we have the right to sue? Is it possible that we could file criminal charges? Because in America, we have made decisions because we went based upon the information of our media. So, have we been coerced? Are we being manipulated? I think these are real questions that we really need to start asking and really thinking about. Is an independent, impartial media that has been captured and doesn't let us know that they have a lien and they are not completely impartial, is that criminal? Because if we're going to justify that manipulation being okay, then where do we draw the line? So back to my original question, is being manipulated illegal? It's immoral for sure, but is it illegal? Is it abuse? Those are my closing thoughts. Thank you for listening to the Johnny Hustle Anti-Establishment Show. I really appreciate your time and attention. I look forward to you being in future episodes. So please come back, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make a comment. If you loved it, tell me you loved it. If you hated it, tell me you hated it. And let me know why. Either way. Peace. The revolution won't be televised. It'll be on the internet. Let's go! So different. These people, they don't never listen. They on a mission to deceive, but I breathe on the track. They like, who is that? Hey, Johnny Hustle, you know where that? Life is like a paradise. Get it, paradise. Roll snake guys one time, you might lose your life. So I fight the power to be. Fight the power you see. Ballot, order, bullet. I have a dream that I ain't never seen, but I know that I can do anything. Destroy whatever trap you put in front of me. That ain't nothing to me. Y'all just front of me. Political speak, PC in operation, interfacing throughout the nation, monitoring everything you're saying. Rage up against the machine, shadow bang, shadow realm. Time to do. Who are you? Red pill with a blue pill, dot matrix. Decipher the signs, secret society still on the rise. My alter, her psychology lies. MK Ultra is the culture. ADHD, how they play me like a fiddle was another riddle. Propaganda that the media plays. Airwaves that have nothing to say except how to keep us enslaved. With access that caused that and this pharmaceutical craze. Did you check your diabetes today? Stuck in the Dr. Doom loop. It would be fantastic for him if I disappeared, but I show him my strength. Stretch my arms out, give him a lift. Set the institutions aflame. We're the misfits with a mission to end all the struggle and pain. I can't stand the rain on my window pane. Just another day. At least that's what the news say. Young kid with a Uzi, sipping on some juice. Hope they don't choose me. No, they just lost me. Look at what it cost me. But we're the anti-establishment, and we won't stand for this.